Okay. Can I make a confession to you?
Oh, God. Yeah.
I hate bananas.
Oh, shit.
They're terrible. They're the
Alright.
worst fruit.
I mean, you're allowed to be wrong, but did it have to be this?
How could you betray me?
Okay, bananas.
Stop.
Fucking
I haven't
hell.
explained myself.
I don't want you to, but
It's-
okay, go.
It's like they're the most difficult, disgusting fruit to eat. It's like they don't want you to eat them.
They're so portable. They're a portable snack, Stephen.
No, because every other fruit you can just dig into. Bananas you have to peel in a certain way, and if you screw it up, then there's all these like gross strings and everything.
Everything about your limbs is designed to eat a banana. You were a monkey once, okay? It's portable. It has its own skin. I can put it in my handbag. You know what happens when I put peaches in my handbag, Stephen? Peaches happen. Alright, it's bad. It's bad. It's wet. It's gross. The handbag smells gross. Okay? It's bad.
You're disgusting. This entire concept is disgusting to me. Are monkeys and bananas like mice and cheese, where mice don't actually like cheese? And it's just like a kind of metaphorical thing?
No, so monkeys and gorillas open bananas the opposite way to us. They actually like reach up to the tree until like the tail of the banana. They like open it that way and take it out, and then the tree just like makes a new banana. Banana science.
Monkeys also eat their shit and finger fuck each other. I mean,
So do people.
well, we do the second one. All right, that's it. Welcome to Hey Sis, Watch This, a weekly podcast where, yes, we're doing this,
Good.
where two siblings subject each other to their favorite movies. I'm your big brother, Stephen Malone,
And I'm your little sister, Grace Rion.
who isn't talking into the microphone.
I'm sorry. I was thinking about bananas.
Of course you were. What's on your mind? You're just a fucking banana whore.
What are we watching today, Stephen?
Well, it was your turn to pick the movie this week, so we're watching The Devil Wears Prada.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
You can only say the title in that tone of voice.
The Devil Wears Prada.
Prada.
I actually couldn't believe that you haven't seen this.
No, I like girly movies. I really like Anne Hathaway.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, I just never saw this. How did you see it? Like, what are your thoughts?
Oh, Jesus.
Why did you pick this? Where does this come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Joe?
I feel like I've seen this movie 50 times.
Right.
I feel like it has an excellent soundtrack. I feel like it's full of montages. It's just a perfect background movie.
Right.
Like, me and my friends will buy several kinds of cheese, a packet of Jats, and put on The Devil Wears Prada. Like, it's never not funny. The acting is excellent. Anything with Meryl Streep in it is just a good time.
It's like a Love Actually.
Yeah, legit. Yeah.
Just
yeah,
put
yeah,
it
yeah.
on to entertain yourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And fuck.
Yeah. Like, that's all you got?
That's all I got, man. That's all I got just about. I just feel like I can watch this movie at any time.
It's very strange that you feel that way. This movie was a fucking roller coaster of emotion. Because here's the thing about this movie. I understand the basics of the story,
Right.
but I'm a 38-year-old man. I don't understand fashion.
Yeah.
I don't understand the point of this movie.
Right.
And it took me a very long time to understand why the hell Anne Hathaway is doing anything. And so this movie is insane. It's like 4 different movies in one. There's the fish out of water movie. There's the workaholic movie. There's the learning who you truly are and changing yourself because of that movie. There's like the I want to kill my boss movie. There's like the way you talk about this movie is the polar opposite of how I feel about it. Because I feel like this movie is just a roller coaster ride.
I should say this. I should preface this whole podcast with the fact that I fucking hate Anne Hathaway's boyfriend. Andy's boyfriend?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I hate all her friends.
This is a Nate hate podcast. I need everyone to understand that.
Nate Hate 2018. Let's start with the friends. Her friends are terrible, and I don't just mean like an in-universe sense. I don't like them as characters.
Yep.
First of all, I don't like the group. Like, you have a journalist, a photographer, an accountant, and a chef. Like, in what fucking hipster TV show do these people fall out of?
It's so bizarre because you would assume anyone who's able to live in such like a, what is it, like inner city New York
Yeah.
or something. I suppose I don't really understand those terms because I'm Australian, but like you would think anyone who would work there, like one of them would be, I don't even know that all of them would work in an office. That's what I expected. But it's it's like a New York movie in the way that like one of them's an artist, one of them's a chef, And it's like, this isn't Sex and the City.
Right, this isn't Rent. You're not like all precious, I'm not going to use the word snowflake because that has a whole different connotation these days. But you're not all these like precious little artistic people. Like the accountant. I don't know why there's an accountant in that group of friends.
I don't know. Is it because he's gay?
I don't think he came off as gay. I just think he came off as a fucking dweeb. Yeah, I don't like her friends. They don't, like, at first they laugh at her because she has the new job, and then they hate her because she takes the new job, and then her boyfriend dumps her because her new job is really good and she's really getting into it. Like, I don't like her friends at all.
No, me neither. And I just feel like her boyfriend makes a lot of comments that I would expect just a fuckboy to make. He just comes off as a fuckboy. There's a moment where he actually says, like, was your interview a phone interview? And I'm like...
Yeah, it's like, aren't you supposed to be my boyfriend? Aren't you supposed to support me in my actions?
It hurts me, and it's super weird because, like, throughout the movie, he'll say different things like, I don't like what you're wearing when it's fancy, but then he'll also say that, like, you don't have any fashion sense, and then...
It's weird. All his opinions of her are completely surface level. At first, he's like, oh, you'll never make it in the fashion world. And then she like comes home in really fancy clothes and he's like, wow, you look really pretty. This is cool. This is great you have this job.
Yeah.
And then like she starts getting more into it and like basically starts fucking him less. Mm-hmm. And like he is just his opinions of Anne Hathaway, of her. I don't know the fucking character's name.
Andy.
Yeah, Andy. His opinions of Andy are just completely materialistic and surface level. I do not like him or Andy's friends at all.
I also really love the fact that there's like a scene where she gives them all the free stuff that she gets from work.
Yeah.
And when she walks in, they're about to have a whole conversation about they think how her whole job is conceited. But when she walks in, he's talking about how to cook the perfect French fry.
Yeah.
And I'm just
Squeeze the French fry.
I'm like, fuck you. Like, fuck you for being like, oh, I'm a chef and this is how you cook a potato and it's really important. But I don't like my girlfriend's skirts. I don't like that. Like, it's stupid.
He's as into his stuff as she is into hers.
Yeah, but apparently it's a different situation for her.
But like making chips is somehow emotionally different to working in a fashion magazine.
I do not understand. And then she, like she's a journalist and she's a degree in journalism. You would think that he would give a shit about that part of it. And then she comes out and she's just like, oh my God, but look at all these people who've like written for the magazine, written for Runway, and they're journalists. And immediately he says something like, have you been drinking the Kool-Aid?
Right.
Like she's actually come out and been like, but look at this part that you wouldn't hate. And he's like, nah, just immediate dismissal.
She's saying, look at me, I've decided to like put my heart and soul into this and to become a part of this world. Isn't this a cool world I've found?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, fuck you, I liked it better when you were just a shitty journalism student.
Yeah, exactly. Also, the fact that her fucking... oh my God. Can you imagine if your boss was calling you and your friends wouldn't let you answer your phone?
And they took your phone?
That's stress. That stresses me out.
I remember we saw Magic Mike 2, Magic
Yes.
Mike XSL in the
Fuck
cinema.
yeah, we did.
There was a scene where someone throws Channing Tatum's phone out a bus window.
Oh my God.
You had a heart attack. Your physical reaction to the scene of someone throwing a cell phone out the window is just like, oh my God.
If I lost my phone, it's the end of my life. It's the end of my life. All of my bank details are on there. All of my nudes are on there. Like, everything stops when my phone disappears.
Those are the two important things in life.
You could ruin my life with those two things. Take my money, spread my titties everywhere. It's bad.
Well, you technically already spread your titties everywhere, but I get
For money.
your point. For money. Yeah.
For money.
Let's go from talking about characters we hate, because it's a weird way to start a podcast, but let's go from characters we hate to characters we love. 2 words. 5 words, actually.
Please say Stanley Tucci.
Stanley Tucci and Emily Blunt.
Yes.
Amazing.
Fuck.
Let's go
So
Emily
good.
Blunt first. I was shocked because I've only seen Emily Blunt in very, very tough roles. Like I saw her in, it's got like 5 different names. The Tom Cruise movie about time travel.
Oh, yeah.
She's like the soldier in the mech suit and she's like so super
Yes.
like rah.
Yes.
But she's like this adorable little fashion assistant girl in this movie. She's amazing.
That's so funny that you say that because even though I've seen that movie you're talking about, when I think of Emily Blunt, I think of this like soft, kind of like funny, just this like woman that enjoy watching. I don't even know. But they really, and like I'm a makeup artist, so this is why I noticed these things, but they really had to like intensify her face. She's always wearing colors that like are really intense, and she's wearing lots of eye makeup and lots of lipstick, and they just, I don't know, they make her face really sharp, and I think it's obviously because Emily Blunt's face is actually quite kind. Like, she's about to play Mary fucking Poppins. Like, she has an incredibly kind face.
Yeah, side note, a little tangent here. Obviously, I'm a guy, I don't know anything about anything this movie is about.
Yeah.
All the, like, fashionable, quote-unquote, people in this movie look like cyborgs. They have, like, weird flappy clothing, and they have, like, weird colors on their eyes, and their hair is, like, pointing in 6 different directions. Yep. And they're sort of haughty, and I'm like, everyone is dressed like, okay, you know, when you're watching TV and you see like a fashion show and these like weird people in weird clothes that no one would ever actually wear come out, and everyone's applauding because it's like, oh my god, this is like just the height of excess.
Yes.
Like, everyone dresses like that in this movie, and like, it was very jarring to me. Like, you look like a cyborg. Mm-hmm. You look like a hologram. You're not real.
And that's what I was talking about. Remember when we watched 50 Shades of Grey, and I was talking about how they have that. It's an excellent way to tell a story very quickly in a movie. Is you show like the two different worlds, and you have like her just like pulling a pair of old underwear out of a drawer, but then you've got all these like glamorous women like putting their stockings on very slowly. You know, like it's very, very good. It
was a good intro. It like really kind of drove it home. I like movies that start quickly.
Yes, me too. And that's why I like relying on those sort of like movie tropes. The only thing that annoyed me about the first 10 minutes is that Andy brushes her teeth without toothpaste. I know that doesn't matter, but because I know that happens, every time I watch it, I'm like, toothpaste, like, I just need to calm down about it.
Yeah, because it's a movie and they shoot everything like 10 times over, and so if she actually used toothpaste, that would like slow everything down.
How dare Anne Hathaway and her giant fucking teeth not use toothpaste anyway?
You have very strange standards. Getting back on track.
Yes.
Stanley Tucci.
Oh my god. He is the fairy godmother of this movie. That's how I feel.
He is the only good employee of Runway.
Okay.
Barring Anne Hathaway. Like, yeah. Even Emily Blunt is still a bitch sometimes. Meryl Streep is, we'll get to her, but she's a tyrant.
Yes.
She's like Mecha Hitler. Mm-hmm. But Stanley Tucci is amazing.
I love... And it's good that you brought him up, actually, because, of course, you know, there's that moment right at the end where he doesn't get that job.
Right.
And it hurts me. It hurts me because I feel like the characters in this movie are done so well, and you give a shit about what they give a shit about.
Yeah, Stanley Tucci at first comes off as untouchable. It's like, I'm the fairy godmother. I'm not even here, really. I'm just going to waft through this movie giving you guidance. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the movie, there's this kind of like Machiavellian thing that Meryl Streep does where she's about to get replaced, so she kind of like replaces someone else in an effort to not replace herself. It's very strange.
It's good and it works, and honestly, it's something that came out of left field in the movie for me. Even though I've seen it 100 times, every time I'm like, oh, I remember that this happens.
Yeah, it's like you're watching Cinderella and someone just like straight up punches the fairy godmother in the face. Fuck you, bitch! Boom!
And the good thing about what I like about Stanley Tucci's character is that I think that he is exactly Anne Hathaway, except he's someone that has chosen to be in that world.
Right.
So you've got someone who the whole movie, like, I should just call her Andy. Andy goes to him over and over and over again for help, and he helps her because he's aware of it. Mm. He seems to be he's like the bridge between her and the world, because he's the only person that goes, yes, I understand everything you're saying, but this is how you become more involved in it. And then he makes that speech about how, you know, he'll be able to go to Paris and actually see Paris, and he's been working for like 18 years and he's never been able to do that, and so you care about it because you're like, this is what Andy could be if she stays here, and then he gets kicked in the face.
Right.
Yeah.
Stanley Tucci also has another speech, which is, I didn't care about Meryl Streep or Runway or any of the industry in this movie until Stanley Tucci gave his speech about what fashion means to him.
Yes.
It's like I was a little boy in, I don't know, Georgia, Alabama, some like hick state down
somewhere
south.
Crazy.
It's like, I told everyone I was going to soccer practice, but I'm actually going to sewing practice or sewing lessons. Mm. And it's like, oh, I understand what fashion means to you now. Like, yes. I understand why people care about this crap that I don't care about.
Yeah.
Because Meryl Streep has another speech where she explains why fashion is so good, but
the cerulean jacket speech.
it's like, it's a good speech, but you're not talking about why fashion is good. You're talking about why you're good.
Yeah. And I think that's her whole character.
Stanley Tucci made me care about the movie I was watching.
Yeah. And like Emily Blunt's character, who is named Emily, I've just remembered. She, like, the only time.
Oh my god, she is.
Yeah, right.
That's so weird.
Because she fucking looks like one.
Do you think actors like that or hate that?
I don't know. We should tweet her and ask her.
We actually should. We have the power now. We're on the internet. We can do fucking anything we want.
Whatever we want. What was I going to say? The only time you hear Emily talk about her job is when she literally is like, I love my job. Like, that's the only time. She just seems to just like fashion. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't get anything more from her.
She would be amazing in a job that was less stressful. Like, she's trying to be like the king of the world, but if she settled for like Queen of New York, she'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Like, and she is just convincing herself that she's into all this and just torturing herself for seemingly no gain at all. Like, she loses. Like, she gets hit by a car. She doesn't go to Paris. She doesn't get anything. Mm-hmm. And in the end, she's still at Runway, still working for Meryl Streep.
Still trying to replace herself.
Yes.
Because that's, like, obviously how it ends. And that's, oh my God, it breaks my heart every time I see the scene where Andy calls Emily and she's about to tell her that she's not going to Paris, because it's the first time that Emily is actually talking to her like a friend,
right?
Instead of just, I hate you. She's just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry that I'm late. She has this whole like little conversation with Andy about, oh, you know how it is. Like, they're finally at a level where it's like, we understand each other. Oh, I'm an idiot. I forgot to do something, you know. And then Andy's like, no, just get hit by a truck instead because you're not going to Paris.
Yeah, for those of you listening at home, Grace made about 17,000 hand gestures during that little monologue of hers.
I am one big hand gesture. I came out of a vagina as a hand.
That's wonderful.
Like
I regret bringing it up then. Okay. Half of my notes in this movie are just like an actor's name and an exclamation point.
Me too.
Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, Stanley Tucci, Meryl Streep. There are a lot of like people in this movie. Let's talk about Meryl Streep.
Okay.
Miranda, fuck's her name?
Fuck, what is her name?
Yeah, expert.
Miranda.
Meryl
Priestley.
Priestley.
Miranda Priestley.
Of course, because it's like completely the wrong name for that kind of person.
Yes.
She
is perfect.
No, I hate her.
I love her sunglasses.
Stop it. That doesn't make people perfect, their sunglasses.
It does.
As a person who's literally never worn sunglasses. So, my opinion of Meryl Streep is that I get what's supposed to happen in this movie. You're supposed to hate her and be in awe of her, and then at the end of the movie, there's this little scene where you see her without her makeup, and she's like complaining about, oh, I'm such a bitch, I've got a divorce, and my kids hate me. And eventually you're like, oh, I forgive you, Meryl Streep. You're just like a victim too, and you're a human being, and I suddenly like don't hate you anymore. Mm-hmm. I still hate her.
Yeah, I feel like they give her a couple of moments of softness, and of course no one sees them, but like the very first time she meets Andy, and she sort of thinks it's comical that Andy has no idea who she is. But there's a moment where Andy is like, I don't fucking know, I wear tan jackets and I have conviction or some bullshit. And Miranda has like a little smile on her face. And then, of course, you know, you see her with a little smile on her face at the end of the movie. Mm. Like, there's, like, little flashes where it's like, okay, she's a person, and all of this is an act. But, of course, like, you see what happens. Like, you see what happens as soon as anyone thinks that Miranda is weak. She nearly lost her job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, like, Hayden... What the fuck's his name? The guy in Paris that she has sex with.
Christian.
Yeah. Christian something. Anyway, that guy.
The mentalist guy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Even Christian was like, oh, you know, that French bitch has like a what? Jacqueline. I must try that sentence again because I don't remember anyone's name. Even Christian was like, oh, you know, Jacqueline has a way fresher take on things. Like, as soon as anyone thinks Miranda has any weakness, she's got to come in, like, torpedo and, like, fix it all.
Yeah, but even a successful tyrant is still a tyrant. Mm. And at no point, like, the movie wanted me to forgive her. And the movie tried to absolve Miranda of her sins.
Yeah, that's true.
I never did. Even at the end, I still hated Miranda. I didn't forgive her for anything she did to Andy. Mm-hmm. And I just, at the end of it, I was like, I'm glad Andy's out.
Yeah.
I'm really glad she's out.
I am annoyed that they gave her a scene with Nate at the end where he, like, accepted her back in as if he hadn't also been a dick. Like, if she was like, look, I understand I let it take over my life, even though we had a whole conversation about how that was okay and how I was only going to do it for a year. If he was like, yeah, and you know what, I think I was a little bit too critical.
I have a question about that scene. Is that a scene where they're just kind of like, kind of settling the relationship, or are they actually getting back together?
I think that's him saying, I'm moving to Boston, please come with me.
Right, whereas Andy, the movie ends with Andy going to an interview at a New York paper.
Fuck, I never thought about that.
Yeah, Andy gets an interview at the New York Mirror.
I have never thought about that.
I thought it was weird too, because in that scene, he makes some offhand comment as like, I think they have cheese in Boston, as if to say, like, come with me to Boston and we can, like, get back at it. It's a weird way of saying that, but...
Oh my god, this movie, in my mind, goes from 4.5 stars to 5 if she doesn't get back with Nate. That's how I feel.
No, she stays in New York and gets an interview at a paper.
Hashtag Nate Hate 2018.
2018.
I need to read out some stupid little comments from my phone here. One of them literally just says, I would keep a flask full of holy water in my Gucci purse ready for after disappointing Miranda so I can cleanse my sins. And I'm pretty sure I wrote that after she couldn't get Miranda home from wherever the fuck she was. Yeah. And even though I know that whole thing was ridiculous, like, fuck, Meryl Streep is just such a good actress.
She's good. Meryl Streep is good. Maybe it's a guy thing. Maybe I'm like a real stickler for character stuff, but I just did not like her and did not accept what the movie wanted me to do. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't forgive her or anything. Yeah, she was a good character. She played it well. Meryl Streep played it very well, and yes. She was like a very interesting character.
I also need to talk about the little tantrum that Nate had when Andy couldn't make it back from that, like, gala event she had to go to.
Yeah, she was late to his birthday party.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, are you fucking 15 years old? It's a birthday party.
He says that. He says, like, I'm not 12 years old. It's just a birthday party. I think it was just, like, the last straw with him.
Yeah, I guess so. I just, like... She had to go to work, fam, and they see each other every day, and she was still there with a cupcake, and I just think that he's a cupcake. That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't like him.
I don't like him.
I don't like Andy's boyfriend. I don't like Andy's friends. I don't think they help the story. They are just like an obstacle. And, like, it's weird to make someone's friends an obstacle when it's a story about personal growth.
Well, I suppose without them, what is the reason for Andy to not just become a glamazon like Emily?
I love the word glamazon.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I don't know, it just didn't work with me.
Yeah,
Everything else in the movie worked except Meryl Streep's absolution and Andy's friends.
Plus, you need, like, I think they needed that extra element of seeing what Andy brings home from work to, like, interact with her personal life.
Yeah.
So, she had the free stuff, which her friends were more than happy to take from her.
Yeah.
But they, like, her friends also needed to, like, take her phone, or her best friend needed to see her, what was the quote, like, skulking around in dark corners with that art guy,
Yeah, like her friend sees her kissing Christian.
Yeah.
Or like
yeah.
Messing around with Christian. Let's talk about Christian. What a fucking creep. Creepazoid.
Christian #no consent Thompson, or whatever the fuck his name is.
That scene at the end where they kiss and they're about to have sex, and like Andy like is like, I can't do this because whatever, and I can't do this because whatever, and it's finally she's just like, I'm out of excuses.
And he's like, thank God.
And it's like, you just spent, like, the woman you're trying to seduce and have sex with spent 2.5 minutes explaining why she can't have sex with you.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's a weird thing, like, somehow whirlwind romances don't work on us.
Yeah.
Because, like, the whole thing about, like, a woman getting swept up in the wake of this amazing guy is like, oh my God, I don't want to, but I have to because it's so amazing. And it's like, in, like, 2018... when it's all about, like, fucking consent and agency, and when I see a movie with a woman in it, the first thing I want the woman to do is be a human being. Like, I can't... Romance kind of doesn't work for us anymore.
I totally feel that. I feel that. And also, he's a dick. I just... Like, they meet... And I suppose he takes advantage of the fact that she's like, oh my God, like I know who you are and you write all these wonderful things. And like
Right.
it already creates that sort of like unbalanced relationship between the two of them, because he's like, oh, I don't even have to do the work here. I can just be a dick, because she's already got like the starry eye emoji.
Yeah. Also, he turns evil really quickly. Like, morning after, Andy is in his room and she sees that mock-up of Runway, the magazine,
Yep.
where Miranda isn't the boss anymore, and
Yep.
suddenly he's just like this porn villain.
Yeah, it's bizarre, because I suppose the first time you see him, he just happens to be at the same party, and then she calls him, and you sort of think that he's separate. Like, it seems like it's just kind of thrown in at the end that he would have anything to do with the new Runway, because he's a writer?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I don't know. It is definitely kind of chucked in at the end that he was involved in that.
I feel like I really like this movie in general, though, because I feel like I don't see movies like this often anymore, like movies that are just personal journeys.
Yeah.
Everything's about, like, saving the world or conquering some villain, or, like, it's all about this hero's journey bullcrap.
I think that might be because it was a book first.
Right. Well, it's like when I was in high school, I read a lot of books, but I only read girls' books. Because boys' books were like, Star Wars and Captain Underpants. It was like, let's defeat the bad guy, maybe make a fart joke.
Yeah.
Whereas girls' books were like complex stories about people, like interpersonal stuff happening.
Definitely.
And like, I feel like I need to watch more movies like this, because I'm really not satisfied with fucking Thanos and his bullshit.
That purple Joss Whedon.
The purple Joss Whedon.
and I totally agree, because I talk to guys now, like as an adult, but also as a kid, and they were like, oh, I couldn't read it because it was really boring. And I'm like, it wasn't boring. It just had like an emotional journey instead of a physical action one, with lots of guns,
Yeah.
I also need to read out, OMG, that lunch situation, just like a bag of hot, wet nonsense that everyone dips into like a fountain of chowder. Delicious.
What is this?
When they were having... Right before the mock-up meeting,
Right.
Andy runs into Stanley Tucci, and she's like getting chowder out of the container.
Is that like an Americanism? Like, what is chowder in Australia?
I have no idea.
Is it just like this weird flavored mince goo? Every time I see chowder or hear about chowder, or like even the word chowder in reference to anything, I'm just like, ugh.
Thick soup. That's what I think it is.
Is it like thick but not chunky?
I'm literally going to Google the word chowder, and we will see what the internet wants to do for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I'm watching that scene where she's in the lunch line and she's literally just like scooping this weird grey crap into a bowl, and I'm just like, what the hell are you doing? That's another thing about the way she's portrayed. Like, she's portrayed very naive. It's almost like Anastasia in 50 Shades of Grey, where she's this bumbling college student. She's like spilling food on herself. She's like mocking people unintentionally and kind of being a dick without knowing it. And it's like, you don't need that.
Chowder is a type of soup or stew often prepared with milk or cream and thickened with broken crackers.
I'm gonna die.
That sounds disgusting and gluggy.
It sounds like what Americans poop. No offense to Americans,
But you guys poop, and it's chowder.
it's chowder.
Look, I love this movie.
I do. In general, I like this movie. And it's one of those things where I'm really nitpicking it because I like it so much. Like, I find it really hard to, surprise, surprise, I can't enjoy bad things.
Yes.
If I watch a movie and it's bad, my brain turns off. And then a few seconds later, the movie turns off.
Yes.
Whereas, like, because I like this movie so much, I was just digging into every ounce of it.
Yep. I'm glad that you liked it. Because when you told me you hadn't seen it, I was like, oh shit, bitch. I also wanted to, oh my god, so like, Andy and Emily's job, they're receptionists.
They're personal assistants to Miranda.
Right. Which is essentially a receptionist.
It's like a receptionist, but for a person instead of a business.
A receptionist with an extra set of legs, I
Yeah,
feel.
like Emily is the first assistant and Andy is the second assistant. Andy is the receptionist. Emily is the one doing actual stuff for Miranda and kind of getting in there.
Because I sort of liked that literally on her first day of work, Emily is already calling her with all of these details. I feel like 95% of their job is them just like memorizing words.
Yes.
and then trying to spew them out later and make sense of them. And because Andy doesn't even know how to spell Gabbana.
How do you spell Gabbana? Hello? Hello?
Guess not.
I have 2 tiny fun notes. First of all, the soundtrack is amazing.
Oh, fuck.
When the
Yes.
movie opens with Suddenly I See by Kate Tunstall, that song was everywhere in 2006.
Yes, it
Is
was.
she Australian?
I want to say yes.
I think because like it was double everywhere for us.
Yes.
Like it was on every radio station. It was like every TV show, every movie. It was everything. The other thing is this movie takes place in 2006, which is a year before the iPhone came out, and it's 2 years before touchscreen cell phones became a huge thing.
Everything makes sense to me.
I love 2006 cell phone technology. It looks so stupid. At one point, I think she has like an N gauge or something from Nokia. It's just like this burrito phone, where it's like imagine an iPhone, but it's like twice as thick and it has Game Boy buttons on the sides.
Fuck, I love it.
And at the start of the movie, she has like a flip phone where like it's like a whole keyboard that you flip in half. It's like, I love crazy Nokia 2006.
And there was that one like $1,900 phone that definitely was a dildo. I'm not interested in anyone arguing with me about it. Don't at me.
No one was about to argue until you brought it up.
It was a dildo phone, Stephen.
Oh,
That's what it was.
I remember in like 2006 playing Tomb Raider on the Nokia N gauge, and it was running at like 7 frames per second, and it looked somehow worse than the PlayStation 1 version that had come out years prior.
So of course the soundtrack had Vogue by Madonna on it. Of course it did.
Yes, it had to, by law.
But it also had a U2 song, and I fucking hate U2, and Bono was a cunt. But, can't say that word.
Yes, you can. You just did.
He is, though. But I didn't hate it. I didn't hate that they got to Paris and City of Blinding Lights started playing. I didn't think that it was the worst thing in the world.
U2 is like the elevated music of pop culture. Like, there's a lot of decent U2 stuff that you can pretty much slot in anywhere.
Yep.
Also, you only hate U2 because of like Tumblr reasons, not like because you don't like their music.
Oh my god. You're such an older brother about this. Okay.
Here we go.
Stephen is 8 years older than me, right? So he thinks he knows things that he doesn't. But
I clearly do.
But also, I'm 8 years younger than him, so I think I know things when I don't. It's a perfect mix of nonsense.
Whenever you like something, I ask you one question. Is it good or Tumblr good?
And you do the same thing whenever I hate something. It's like, what did Tumblr say now?
Yeah.
I was complaining about Jennifer Lawrence one day, and Stephen was like, what did you say? You said something like what does Tumblr hate about her?
Yeah, 1 minute Jennifer Lawrence was like this amazing kind of pinnacle pop culture idol, and then like everyone turned on a dime because she said some weird shit about Hawaii on the Graham Norton show.
She's a buttfuck and
Like,
Tumblr hates her.
I know, but it's like you turn on a dime. That's the thing with the internet. It's the thing with them den kids and their internet.
She deserves it.
But like someone does like one weird thing wrong that in the 70s would probably go unnoticed because no one was like recording it at all. But like in 2018 everyone's like, oh my god, she like pronounced the name of a country wrong. Now like let's just turn on her.
Her and you too can both fuck off.
Like, do you actually have thoughts about that music, or is it just because Bono shot a kid or something? Not that I'm saying that's not bad, or that he did shoot someone.
All he did was commit light manslaughter, and I think we should still like him.
Are you being serious right now? Did he actually kill someone?
No! I just hate his glasses. I hate them.
That's your reasoning?
They're yellow and he needs to fuck off. I just think he sucks. I don't know. I look at him and I feel this like guttural, it's like a caveman instinct to tell him to get fucked. That's how I feel.
Yeah, well, I hate Yo Gabba Gabba.
Why are you watching Yo Gabba Gabba?
Because someone, when Yo Gabba Gabba came out, was like, oh my god, it's a kid's show, but they have like Jack Black and Richard Ayoade and people on there, so like it's actually for adults. And I'm like, no, you idiots, it's just a kid's show. Come Can I get on a tangent? I hate this new theme of like, let's make cartoons for adults. I hate Rick and Morty and BoJack Horseman and Bob's Burgers and all this crap.
Okay, so Steven just listed 3 of my favorite TV shows.
It's terrible.
That's so good.
They don't need to be cartoons.
But they can be, because he's a horse, so it's funnier.
You're a terrible person.
Oh, you're adopted.
What are we talking? No, I'm not.
How do I segue?
Fun fact, you can't adopt people at the age of 16.
Stephen tried.
Too much information about our lives.
Fuck, how do I segue from like Yo Gabba Gabba back to Anne Hathaway's gigantic mouth?
Speaking of things that look like dildos.
That fucking phone.
Anne Hathaway is beautiful, and
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
understand the mouth comments at all until she wears red lipstick, and then she just looks like a distended anus.
She has a large mouth. And like, sorry to re-reference fucking 50 Shades of goddamn Grey, but this is what I was talking about, is that at the start of 50 Shades of Grey, they have a moment where they try to make her look really dumpy, but because that actress's eyes are like so incredibly blue, she's really beautiful. But I think they do it really well in The Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah.
Because they actually don't put that much makeup on her.
Right.
And then for the rest of the movie, she has a lot of makeup, so it makes sense. But what's her name? Dakota
Johnson?
Johnson. Is actually beautiful. It's actually just beautiful throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, she has what we like to call Scarlett Johansson syndrome,
She does.
which is we were watching a romantic comedy movie with Scarlett Johansson. And
He's just not that into you.
He's Just Not That Into You, that movie. And in the movie, Scarlett Johansson is this kind of ditzy, emotionally vulnerable woman. And it doesn't work because Scarlett Johansson is just this aggressively beautiful woman
She's so hot, man.
who dominates the room whenever she walks into a room and suddenly it is... I don't even know what I'm saying because I'm so stunned by her beauty.
Pop de Bono can't speak. No, and I hate to like talk about a sixth movie in this podcast that's supposed to be just about The Devil Wears Prada, but there is a scene in that He's Just Not That Into You. It's right at the start where Scarlett Johansson wins like a mini fridge or something, and she's like bouncing around. She's like, "Oh my god, I've never won anything before," and it's like, I just don't believe you. I don't believe you. Because
Yeah.
someone as beautiful as you would get free shit all the time. That's
People
how
would
I
just
feel.
like show up and give you things. It's like, here we go again with another media reference. It's like in the first episode of Dr. House where House meets Cameron, and Cameron is like a doctor who's like this amazingly beautiful woman, but is also a doctor. And Dr. House is just like, you could have been a model. You could have been like a superstar. You could have just shown up and people would have given you stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's a whole thing that is relevant to her character that I'm not going to repeat because it doesn't make sense.
How good is House?
Yeah.
Oh, no, actually, I
First two
vaguely-
seasons are amazing. Third is the rest are garbage.
I think I've only seen the first 2 seasons.
First 2 seasons are amazing.
Because I am 12 years old.
And then it's like, well, we ran out of cancers to give to people. And all the good actors have left.
I'm scraping the bottom of the cancer barrel here, guys. We have to give them more storylines.
How about one where you scrape cancer out of people?
No. The Devil Wears Prada.
That's fine. It's good. I really like it, except for some tiny character moments. I spent a lot of time looking at the computers in this movie. They have those shiny plastic iMacs.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
They're running like 10.4 or something, which is only interesting to me, but they're running like an old operating system and they look really cute, and it's like back before everything that Apple made was made of aluminum.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good.
Little fun fact, there is, I think her name is Stella in the movie, but Emily's friend who seems to also work in the building, you have no idea what her...
Heidi Klum?
No, Giselle Bundchen.
Is she like another Heidi Klum?
There are many an actual model in this movie.
Apparently, like a lot of models did cameos, but a lot of like fashion industry people refused to do cameos because they were scared of Anna Wintour.
Who this movie is about. Miranda Priestley is directly based on Anna Wintour, and anyone who says that she's not is a butthead.
Guess who read Wikipedia? I did.
You did?
Yes.
Okay.
Silence. We're leaving that silence in. Note to future Stephen, who's editing this episode, leave that silence in. That was gold.
Because Grace doesn't know how to react to you knowing how to read Wikipedia, I guess. Fuck.
Have you seen... This movie reminded me of How many things are we going to reference when we're talking about this?
11. Keep going.
11. Well, we're at 8 now, so let's keep going. Julie and Julia.
Oh, fuck, I love that movie.
It's great. And, like, the opening gave me, like, hints of that.
I just think Meryl Streep... Oh my god, I just think Meryl Streep... The thing about Meryl Streep is that she auditioned to be in, was it King Kong? And
What?
Yeah, and they told her that she was too ugly. And I'm like, that's Meryl fucking Streep, bitch. You wait till Mamma Mia comes out, and then you'll die. Mamma Mia is not the example I should have given there, but I love that movie.
Mamma Mia is okay, except for Pierce Brosnan singing. Pierce Brosnan singing sounds like Pierce Brosnan singing.
Pierce Brosnan in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie made more sense than him being in Mamma Mia.
He was in SpongeBob?
Oh, dude, it was so good. Have you not seen it?
I think I have, years ago, on accident.
I just want to fight anyone who talks shit about Meryl Streep. That's how I feel.
So the main thing with me in this movie is that I have zero frame of reference for just the importance of everything going on. I don't understand fashion. I'm not a part of the industry or the fandom or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it was just a story about Anne Hathaway, who's this like nice journalism girl, walking into a shitty job with a shitty person and doing shitty things she has to shitty do.
There are only a couple of moments that I thought were strange. I guess just like her not knowing who Miranda was. Like I know that they put that in there so that it was clear that she knows nothing about the fashion industry, but there is absolutely no fucking way that you go to a job and not know who your boss is.
Right. Especially, she's supposed to be smart. She would do a little research.
Yeah, you would not... Yeah, and I know it's just so that Miranda could say, and you have never heard of me. Like...
It's a good scene.
It's a good scene. I like it. But, like, her just having no idea what she was doing, I was like, oh, okay. Okay, I'm just going to accept it.
She probably had, like, 10 job interviews that day.
True.
And, like, the 5 she actually was excited for. Like,
even though we know that she didn't because she had a very organised file of facts at the start of the movie, Stephen.
How do you know what a file of facts is? You're 12 years old.
Because I Googled it because I kept calling it a binder in my phone notes and I knew that wasn't what it was called.
Trapper Keeper.
Trapper Keeper.
Trapper Keeper.
I Googled it about 20 minutes ago. I'm not even kidding.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, what's the moral of this movie? I understand movies don't have to have morals. Just because you're making a movie doesn't mean you have to, like, moralize to people. But, like, what is the moral of this movie? Is it be yourself, but only after you be other people?
I think it is, like you said before, like, it's a journey of self-discovery, but I think it's an example of how each individual decision, like, it's cause and effect. Yeah. Each individual decision, something is going to come of that decision. And I know that they really kept the theme of Andy being like, I didn't have a choice, I didn't have a choice, I didn't have a choice. And everyone being like, yes, you did, yes, you did, yes, you did. And of course, like, her choice is literally just, I'm just trying to make it to the end of the year so that I can get another job where I'm actually going to like it. But of course, in making those decisions, she's changing as a person, apparently. Even though really I just think that she's wearing higher shoes and has shinier hair. But... yeah, I think it's like a self-discovery journey and just like what your choices are and how they affect other people.
Yeah, I guess it's, like I said, this is like 3 or 4 different movies in one. Yeah. And there is like the fish out of water story and...
Water story.
Sorry, I had like a mini stroke as I was saying that sentence. There's like the story about being a fish out of water. There's a story about finding something that you actually love and getting really into it. There's a story about people hating you because you're changing. There's a story about changing. It's like, this movie was a roller coaster. This movie, so many different things happening.
I think that's why I like it, though, because there was no, like, one clear theme. It was just like, here is a turn of events. Also, Emily Blunt is there.
Yeah, like, you watch Ghostbusters, and it's like, okay, well, they're going to be Ghostbusters. At the end of the movie, they're going to bust a really big ghost.
Yes.
What the hell song was that?
Ghostbusters.
No.
Yes, it was.
No.
That's how it starts. Fuck you.
Yeah,
but the backing of the... You don't know things.
You hum the backing of a song?
Yes. That's how you start a song.
No.
Stephen.
You just, like... You had a mini stroke.
I am a mini stroke.
You are. You really are.
I just realized that... And we can just cut this bit out. But I just realized that we have not chosen what movie we're going to watch next week.
Well, it's my turn.
Oh, shit, okay.
So, I'm just going to surprise you.
What?
I'm going to surprise you.
Well, you have to tell me, otherwise I have to not gonna know what to watch.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna look at the list right now.
Okay.
You can keep talking and entertain our audience.
RoboCop. Okay.
RoboCop.
You can keep talking. Kidding, because RoboCop.
RoboCop.
Literally the only frame of reference I have for RoboCop is like references from other shows. I know nothing about it.
It's one of those movies where like the only thing you know about it is the references to it. You haven't seen the original thing. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be fun.
This is what I think happens in RoboCop. There's a cop and he's a robot, and it's a wacky adventure about him just trying to be a cop, and he tries to fuck the printer.
That's exactly what it is.
We don't have to watch it.
You've nailed it. Exactly.
Just like he nailed that printer.
You're clairvoyant or something. Can you be clairvoyant about things that happened in the past?
Yes. Because what if they didn't happen to me? Fuck you.
So, I guess that's our episode for this week.
How do we end a podcast?
Like this. First, you shut the fuck up and let me speak.
Oh, god damn it. Okay.
You're already screwing it up. Stop it.
I'm not good at this.
No, you're clearly not. Thank you for listening to Hey Sis, Watch This. If you like us, you can subscribe to us on iTunes or any other podcast platform. If you go to heysiswatchthis.com, you'll find links to all the other major apps. You can also give us a review on iTunes because apparently that's helpful. I've spent the last 10 years listening to people talk about that, but I don't know what the fuck it is. I guess, whatever. We're going to have a Patreon up pretty soon, so if you super like us by then, help support us. I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing?
I don't know what you're doing either. It's fine. Right now, both me and Steven are talking into a single microphone, and you know what? You should pay for a second. If you like our shit, you should definitely tweet us. What is our Twitter?
It's at Hey Sis, Watch This.
Super duper easy. Tell us what movies you want us to watch.
You're good
Tell
at
us
this.
how you feel about... Yeah, I know how to talk. I'm a person. Tell us how you feel about The Devil Wears Prada. That's very important to me.
And how you feel about RoboCop, and how you feel about Grace ending the show because she's way better at it than I am.
And tell me what you think RoboCop's printer baby would look like.
It would look like a printer baby.
Steven,
that's obvious.
Let the people be creative. Let them express themselves.
No, I refuse.
Okay,
Thank you for listening. Goodbye, I think.
Goodbye.
Oh, crap, I'm still screwing this up. We're done.